The characters of a game. The ones who make or break a story. The ones that carry the universe upon their shoulders. Or so I'm told. Hi, I welcome you again to this series of videos analyzing the major aspects of action-adventure video games called Let's Get Immersive. Today, as you might have guessed by the title, we will discuss the intricacies of characters and their relationship to the story and other aspects of the player's immersion. Characters are somewhat like buildings. They need a stable base to stand upright, or else they will crumble. This means that every main character in a story needs to be fleshed out so that his or her motives and morals are clear to the spectators. The term character not only refers to the protagonist of the story, but also to the antagonist and the supporting cast. This means game storyboard creators need to paint the background for each and every one of them, because if they fail to do so, their characters become bland. And who likes bland characters? Exactly, no one. I'm going to take a page from K.M. Weiland's book, which I have linked in the description, to tell you how to introduce a character into a story. First of all, you need to name your characters. Obvious, isn't it? If you don't have names for your characters, they might as well spend the whole game being called, I don't know, boy?
Everything is different, boy.
This way, boy. Slow down, boy.
Boy. Boy! Look at me! Look at me, boy! Boy! Beneath the
Second,
floor.
show some
Boy.
personality.
Boy.
The first
Here.
act sets
Boy.
the tone of the story.
Boy. You are in
and
your
usually
head, boy.
introduces the main
We
cast.
will go home, boy.
So why not introduce their traits and personalities? This step is used mostly to make the comparison of how a character acted at the beginning of a story and how they change throughout it. And last but not least, give the character something to be remembered by, or as K.M. Weiland says it, a classic moment, which could range from the character committing a crime to the character saving someone from certain death. Whew, that sure was a long explanation. So, who's ready for 7 more minutes of this? Oh, okay, so oh, I was not expecting you. Yeah, I just wish I could see you from my screen, so that I could witness how many of you are not raising your hands. Figures, let's just move on. When we talk about a character, we are not only talking about a person in a story, we're also talking about decisions. Decisions characters make based on the hurdles the game puts them through. The character is made from the decisions he or she takes in the context of the story, but seeing as we are in the video game world, things are slightly different. More often than not, the decisions are not taken by the one who writes the characters, but you, the player. And this creates a new layer of flexibility to a story. It introduces the element of decision making. Let's give you an example. Yes, I have a good one. For as much as you read a book, it will always turn out the same way. The ending will not change. Unless you are one of those fanfiction creators. Ew, disgusting. In contrast to this, some action-adventure video games have various endings, depending on how you play the game. For example, Undertale. In this game, you play as Frisk, a little girl who is lost in a world of monsters. The goal of the game is to escape this world to return back to the human world. You might make friends along the way. The game instills onto you the idea that not all monsters are bad, and that you don't have to kill them to win. The game only suggests that you play peacefully, but the fate of the monster world and your future rests in your wise or unwise decisions. Based on all of the actions you take, you can achieve 3 different endings, which are drastically different from one another, and they each reflect how you played the game. This not only affects the characters in the game world, but also on a psychological level, it affects you. In this very moment, you might be asking yourself, what the is this guy thinking? A video game affecting me? But I am a strong independent gamer who is not affected by any puny game, you might say. But it is scientifically proven that video games stimulate certain areas of the brain and can even shape your personality. This specific trait of video games is called Characterization. Characterization is vital if we want to talk about immersion in the video game world. We can define characterization as the way the player, also known as the viewer, relates to the character or characters of a movie, show, or more prominently, a video game. This is brought about by immersion, which sets the tone and puts us in the shoes of our desired character. Most video game main characters are meant to be likable, because this will create a deep sense of relatability with the player, creating a more enjoyable experience. But it doesn't stop there. The player can also start to demonstrate certain traits of the video game character, thus increasing morale and bringing about a positive change to the player's daily life. Let's say you're playing Devil May Cry, and you feel related to its main character, Dante, a very confident and cool ladies' man who always triumphs no matter the circumstances. If you, the player, feels a connection either because you agree with his ideals or you just see yourself in the character, you might start to act like the character. I know, this sounds insane. And no, if you play a game too much, you won't be able to fly or shoot fireballs from your hands. Aww. Yeah, go cry to your mama. And if you still don't believe me, I have linked 2 research papers below. What the papers are basically saying is that the players do feel a connection to their video game counterparts, and this connection, along with the gameplay, raises the enjoyment level of the player. These changes do occur based on the role the player chooses in a video game. To put it into layman's terms, put yourself in the shoes of a character, and you might enjoy yourself and improve little by little. Well, throughout the video I have been mentioning that characters do this or do that, but I have yet to explain what a character's role is in the actual context of video games. To put it bluntly, characters have 3 main roles in video games. These roles are entertaining, advancing the story, and finally, creating a sense of immersion and characterization. Characters must be entertaining due to the fact that a game just wouldn't be the same if the characters are flat and boring, instead of flamboyant and, entertaining, I guess? Let me give you an example of how not to write a character. I'm gonna stop for a second here and put a warning sign in the video. I'm about to talk about one of the worst, if not the worst game ever conceived. Ride Through Hell Sorry, it's just so bad. I can't even think about it without getting sick. Okay, let's go. I got this. Ride to Hell Retribution. This game is baffling all around, but its characters are as bad as the game itself. The main character is called Jake Conway, a military veteran who joins a motorcycle gang. Most of the game revolves around him just punching other gang members and aggressively riding bikes. The nail in the coffin is that his personality, well, actually, he has none at all. He's your generic bad guy, number 3, who does nothing but be violent and act on instinct alone. It's just plain awful. Well, to wrap it up, characters are the anchors of video games. They keep them stable and define where the game may end up. Not only this, but you also learn that throughout the process of characterization, people can change for good, thus accentuating the importance of video games. And finally, bad characters in games may lead to an all-round bad game. Talking about bad games leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Well, that's all I had to talk about today, folks, so if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, because there will be plenty of more videos on the way. Stay tuned and What do you want? I'm in the middle of a video. What do you mean I have 3 more videos to work on? But I have only slept 4 hours this week. Fine, I suppose I'll have to graduate then. Peace out.